Everybody all set? All right, good evening, everyone. I'll call the meeting to order. Meeting of the Carver Select Board for Tuesday, August 4th, 2026. Select Board meetings are broadcast live on YouTube and are also recorded by Area 58 Community Access Media Channel 9 and will be posted by Area 58 on YouTube as soon as possible. There are openings on several committees. Please refer to the front page on our website for a listing and application. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our community prayer. Almighty God, humbly we pray your blessing as we concern our life with the opportunity to serve our community. Enhance us with your spirit of dignity and selflessness. May we become instruments of support and understanding as we seek to bring an environment of trust and purpose among all who provide the many services that make us all that we can become. Help us achieve the goals of our commitment in this office that is now our responsibility. And especially, we lift our prayers for all the citizens of our community that we have been allowed to serve, that they may discover the fullness and joy of life that we all seek, and keep those serving in our armed forces and our first responders in our hearts and thoughts. Amen. Before we start this evening, a number of family members in our town hall family suffered losses, so I'd like to just ask for a moment of silence in memory of Michelle Bremer's mother, Betty May, Carrie Boss's mother, Marie, and Art Borden, who served on the Board of Health in Carver for over 25 years. Thank you. All right, the first item on our agenda this evening, as always, is citizens' participation. We do ask any members of the public who speak to the board to try to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Are there any members of the public that would like to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on to our next agenda item, which is a discussion and possible vote on an update relative to the North Carver Water District. Mr. Cannon.
Mr. Chairman, I see Dave Seatontoff come to the table. He's going to give us an update on where we stand.
Mr. Seatontoff, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, I just have a brief statement here. Good evening. I am pleased to inform you that Governor Maura Healey has signed the legislation effectively dissolving the North Carver Water District. Effective as of July 31st, the North Carver Water District has been dissolved in accordance with the enacted legislation. As a result, ownership and operation of the water system has transitioned to the town of Carver. The authority of the North Carver Water District Commissioners has concluded, and the Carver Select Board now serves as the water commissioners for the municipal water system. For our customers, this transition is expected to be seamless. Your water service will continue to be uninterrupted, and all current and required operations will continue. In the coming weeks and months, you may receive additional communications regarding billing, customer service contacts, meeting information, and other administrative updates as the transition progresses. We are committed to keeping you fully informed every step of the way, and will make every effort to minimize any inconvenience. We would like to extend our sincere appreciation to all the previous North Carver Water District Commissioners for their dedicated service to the community. If you have any questions regarding this transition, please contact the Town Administrator's Office at 508-866-3401. Updates will be posted on the town's website at www.carverma.gov as they become available. I can also say the town launched its new website yesterday, and we have the updated information for anybody of the existing customers of the North Carver Water District. There are contact numbers, regular daytime numbers, and off-hour emergency numbers if any of the customers have an issue.
And there's Middleborough has 24-hour numbers, right? So if somebody has an
Correct.
issue at 3 a.m., there's a number there to... Do we have, and I don't know if either one of you know the answer, do we have an email list? We must have an email list of all the folks on the North Carver Water District, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we do have an email list. We did send out letters to all the
Okay,
users.
with all that information?
With all the information on it.
Okay, that was I wanna make sure everybody has all the information they need, so if they have a problem, they know who to get
We have mailed those out. I will let you know, we've also been in contact with DEP, the town of Middleborough Town Council, our distribution operator, and then the North Carver Water Commissioners themselves. I do also wanna just thank Dave and the rest of the team. I put together a transition team, if you remember, there's a couple of select board members actually were invited to it. I wanna thank everybody for their input in that. Again, this has been a big effort. We knew it was gonna come fast and furious. Once we had control, you need to kind of get that word out to everybody all at once, so it's a lot going on there. But we were able to accomplish that, and again, Dave's really taken the lead on this, and I think right now the transition has been smooth. And that's the one thing I think we want to ensure is that certainly for the customers, they will not see any difference in water service at all. There's a lot of work on our end, but there really is no work on their end, so I think that's what's the most important.
And we have actually a meeting tomorrow, a teleconference with DEP and Middleborough and some of the people from Carver, just to discuss things, put together, let DEP know what our plan is, how things are going to progress, keep them informed along the way. Yep.
Are there questions from the board on this whole transition? Anyone?
No, just thank you. I mean, I know we were getting ready for this day, and we worked, as Mr. Cannon said, several of us worked on a transition plan, so hopefully it's coming along. We'll get updates, I guess, each week on, or each time we meet on how that transition's going, but anything we can do to help too, we're here to make sure that the citizens of Carver that are on the water system get, clean water, and so whatever we can do to continue to support that, let us know.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to thank the town administrator and Mr. Siedentopf for being on top of this. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, we knew it was coming. It's been coming for a long time. I think for the board, I think if any presidents do reach out to you, I think the most important thing is know that their supply of water is not going to change one bit. I don't think they'll notice the interruption at all in service. And Dave and I, we've already had some discussions, about how we can make it better and how we can, certainly work more efficiently than we could in the past. So hopefully all of that will come transfer into savings for the customers and for the town. So there's a lot to go on there.
That's, and I appreciate, have we got all the information we need from the North Carver Water District? Is there any information or access issues?
Right now, no access issues. Right now, I'd say we have all the information. I'm sure maybe something will arise, and I'll reach out if necessary or as needed. So short term, nothing is going to change. Middleborough, we need to stay on their water. Our plant is not going to be operational anytime soon. That's part of the discussion with DEP tomorrow, is to see what they would like Carver's to do, as far as any studies or engineering or anything of that needs. And then once we get that guidance, there's going to be a lot of information we need to extract out of all that to make our decisions long-term. But those are all going to be based on what's best for the end users in the town.
How about existing contracts that may be out there with various folks?
There are a couple we're looking into. Yep.
So one is with the distribution operator. Again, we're gonna have the meeting with DEP tomorrow. He's reached out to me himself, actually. He was aware of the transition. The distribution operator for the North Carver Water District. Town council has told us that we are responsible for those contracts, but it's a, what is it, time and material contract, it's whether or not we actually need him. And we're gonna see that tomorrow when we have our meeting with DEP. I haven't reached out to the engineering firm that they had retained, Taylor and Howard. I can do that. I've reached out to 2 other engineering firms to do an evaluation, and we've talked about that for months, and if not a year and a half, we've been waiting for this to happen. They've both given me proposals to go in and look at the plant, do an evaluation, to find out what kind of cost we're looking at to bring this thing back up to speed. We never really had that done, so that's something that is moving forward also, I didn't mention before.
All right.
Oh, good.
I just had a quick question. Are we talking to our town engineering firm as well? Or
They are one of the
Okay,
firms.
good.
They are one of them.
Anything else?
If I could just,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you know, a few things that have arisen, again, I think with all the North Carver Water District talk, some of it being that the meeting with the Department of Revenue, and I saw it mislabeled again, people do refer to it as an audit. The Department of Revenue was never gonna do an audit of the North Carver Water District. They were gonna go over the financial procedures and processes they go through and see if they can make it more efficient. Again, I know I've already reviewed this with the board
This
again.
is the same issue we reviewed at last month's meeting, right?
Correct.
I'm glad you're reviewing it again.
It is the same issue. When DOR reached out to the North Carver Water District to set up this meeting, I asked if I could attend the meeting. I was told by the North Carver Water Chair I was not invited to the meeting. At that point, I actually reached out to DOR and said, you know, I, as a representative of the town, would like to sit in this meeting. At that point, DOR did not realize the select board had never been informed about this meeting, or had never been asked to attend this meeting. Their full intention was for the town of Carver, through the select board and the North Carver Water District, to both attend the meeting, or your representative, you know, Dave and I could attend on your behalf. But that was their full intent. When that did not happen, they are actually the ones who called off the meeting.
They meaning DOR.
They being
Right.
DOR, right, they had the ones who did. So, it's the exact same thing again, you know, and I've heard this again recently. The other thing I do wanna talk about, there's something out there called a DIF, and that's a District of Infrastructure Financing. And what this says is that the district actually gets some of the tax revenue generated within the district. And their theory being is that, you know, if you have a water district that encourages development, that development brings in extra taxes to the town. Those taxes, a portion of those taxes anyways, go directly to the district as opposed to coming to the town. My understanding of it is that District of Infrastructure Financing was passed at town meeting. I have been able to find a draft of an agreement between the select board and the North Carver Water Districts, and myself and town council. I know he'll come in shortly.
Do you have any idea what year that was?
I wanna say 2018, just off memory, Mr. Chairman, I didn't bring her with me,
Okay.
but I cannot find a signed copy of that agreement, so that's why it was never implemented. Again, I've seen a draft, but as far as I know, there was no signed copy that exists. I've asked as many people in town halls I could find North Carver Water District folks, and we just haven't been able to find that. So that's why it was never implemented.
So in all the budget preparations since 2018, year over year, it never came up? Nobody ever said anything in all the planning about that?
I think, if my memory corrects me, is that there was that payment until the asset was paid off. I think was kind of one of the triggers, and since it never made any money, it was never gonna be a payoff.
Well, that's just it, right? You know, the town of Carver has been subsidizing the North Carver Water District for 20 years. I don't even know how long, it's certainly since I've been here.
2007.
Yeah, since, right, so,
The intent was more business would come, there'd be an income generated, there'd be,
Right.
what do you call it, betterments and all these other things.
Right,
that were
I
gonna
still
happen.
remember that.
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come. I remember that, but,
and that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
all right.
If there's any questions, I'm happy to
Thank you.
answer.
There any more questions from the board?
Sorry, one more question.
Yeah.
This is more capital. You think you're gonna have something for capital this year from a standpoint of, you have enough time to plan, or you're still gonna be straightening things out?
Probably won't see anything on capital this year would be my thought, John. Just because by the time we get a contract signed, we'll find out more tomorrow once we know what DEP wants us to encompass in the study. And then possibly funding for the engineering study. So that might be a possibility.
Anything else? All right.
No,
Mr. Seaton-Top, do you have anything else?
No.
You good? All right.
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the update.
All right, our next agenda item is a discussion and approval of the determination of consent of KP Law, but Mr. Corvo is gonna join us for that discussion, correct? And he's held up in another meeting?
Correct, he's held up in another meeting.
So he will be here later on for
Yes.
this meeting?
Yes, he's coming in.
Okay, so if there's nobody has any objections, we'll skip over this agenda item for now and return to it a little bit later. Next is an application for the Agricultural Commission for Chuck Meredith for a term ending June 30th, 2029. I got a call earlier that Mr. Meredith was unable to join us this evening.
This is a reappointment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to, let's see, to appoint Chuck Meredith for the term ending June 30th, 2029 to the Agricultural Commission.
Second.
To reappoint.
To reappoint.
Yeah, Mr. Chuck Meredith's been doing this for 20 years. He's been an awesome public servant.
Okay. You have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next, we have approval of the 2026 state primary election warrant for September 1st, 2026. I know the town clerk normally joins us for this.
Yeah, and she does apologize, she is not available tonight.
She's not here, and quite frankly, I'm on that election warrant, so I'm gonna recuse myself from this discussion. Kind of turn the discussion over to Mr. Ryan.
All
I
right.
don't think we have to, but it's a
I don't
good
think we
idea.
have to either, but I just feel like.
Doesn't hurt.
Both of you. Okay. All right, is there any discussion from the board on the approval of the 2026 state primary election warrant for September 1st, 2026? Any questions?
I don't like any of it.
You don't like any of these? Is the candidates that you don't? No.
That's just a standard answer for everything.
I think we should change it all and take some of the positions off.
Do I have a motion?
A motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
So it's gonna be 3-3-0. Okay. All right, should we move on to the next item?
But don't tell them. You can stay.
Don't tell them.
You can stay.
Next, we have a discussion and possible vote on King Richard's Fair traffic plan. So, the Chief Rayner.
Good evening, everybody.
Welcome, Chief.
Yep, so the 2026 traffic plan, this was the plan we developed last year, and then we had to make adjustments throughout the year to get it to run smoothly. By the end of the year, the plan was actually running very, very well. So this first slide I have here is the layout of the traffic cones that we set up for the 58 to turn onto Rochester Road. It's approximately 1 mile long. It goes from 107 South Main Street to the north end of Shaw Road. That's laid out at 9 a.m. on fair days. DPW lays it out with a police escort. Once that plan's in place, we have electric signboards that are up, directing traffic into the appropriate lanes, along with additional signage right up there. So that's the first slide.
Can I just ask before we proceed, is there anyone from the fair here this evening? Why don't you come up, sir, and introduce yourself just in case there's some discussion? Okay?
Yes, you'll find me woefully unprepared for a traffic discussion. I'm the attorney that did their liquor license and entertainment licenses, but
That's fine.
I'll try my best.
Just introduce yourself. For the folks at home.
Attorney Tyler Hensler from Upton, Cannell, and Devlin on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So the second slide I have here is Rochester Road into the entrance. So this is the traffic flows both ways on Rochester Road. Staff can enter in on either Ave. They have a fair employee there that monitors cars and makes sure it's staff only. From there, you'll see there's a police detail right at the intersection of Pine. And as we turn onto Pine Street, this is the lot. We have a police detail right at that corner there that directs cars into either gate 1 or directs towards gate 2 if the traffic is starting to get kind of heavy at this point. And then as you can see, we have two-way traffic on Pine Street. From there, we have our emergency vehicle access. Emergency vehicles can access through either Ave and also through gate 3, which is on the south side of the lot. The same is consistent as last year. There's no changes to last year's plan. I just want to kind of brief everybody quickly on it. This is what actually ended up developing and really working the absolute best. This is our Route 58 to the auxiliary parking lot, which is 235 Main Street. The agreement is already in place, and they will have possession for the entire season, so we don't have the same problem we had last year. We'll wait for it for a few weeks. I have a copy of the contract in hand showing that they have it, so we know they do have it prior to the start of the fair. This allows us to, so when the traffic flow is really heavy, and we start getting into that 5th lot, which I'll show you after, that sends a signal to myself or one of my designees that we're going to need to prepare 235 for traffic inflow. So at that point, I notify the fair staff. They will then send staff to 235. They go along this route along Meadow Street, and they stand up all the signs that we pre-positioned directing the traffic. And then they end up being the staff that helps guide people towards where the bus area is at 235. I then send 2 police officers. I send one to the intersection of Meadow and Main Street, and then one to 235 to direct traffic into the fairgrounds. And by having this here, this is about a little over 2 miles, 2.5 miles worth of length. That allows me to clear Tremont Street all the way off into the back road so that we don't have the emergency vehicle problems. It also allows for buses to flow much more efficiently. When we implemented this and figured it out last year, we were able to clear that traffic within an hour. And then it was pretty much smooth sailing from that point forward. So this plan really, really works.
Great. And I think, if I could just ask a question, you may address this later on in your presentation, but I think last year, one of the issues was that the buses weren't ready from the get-go, but this year that's corrected, and they will have buses ready from day one, right?
That when I get to 235.
Okay.
So they have hired a private bus company this year, so they have ample buses. They will have 6 buses on scene at 11:15. Last year was around 11:30 is when we started meeting. So we will have buses there right from the get-go, and the remaining buses will be there at noon. So we will have adequate busing staff. They'll have stanchions actually set up this year. So when people park their cars, they know exactly where to go to get in line for the buses. There was kind of confusion because a lot was kind of open. They didn't see buses, and people ended up going out on 58 and walking. So we addressed that, we think, with staff being there, with stanchions set it up, the buses on scene right away from the start to solve that problem.
Thank you.
This is just 235. Obviously, the gate A, which is the northernmost gate or entranceway, that enters into a lot. Gate B is where the buses will come out of, so we'll keep the traffic flowing one way in each of these entrances. The combination of 235 and their lot is more than ample parking. We'll never go more than that type of parking situation. So we'll be able to handle any of the flow. This is the layout at the main site here, but just how they number their lot and how they do parking. The main significance of this to me is that I know that once I get to lot 5, I got about 500 cars left that I can park. So as we start to get into it, now I'm going to start my triggers, start getting people in positions in the right places. When we get to about halfway through that lot, then I'll make the call, that's it, and I'm going to clear all the congestion off of our roadways and start the transitional process. And that's just a 90-minute flow, just so they don't stop. But like I said, we worked on this plan quite a bit last year. We had some bumps in the beginning. I'm sure there'll be some contingency. We don't know what will happen, but the plan works. It works pretty good.
One, I think, difference that I noticed, last year, there was some discussion about lining the lot. This year, that lot's not being lined, correct?
So the fire lanes will be clearly marked the whole way. But the lining of parking spots on dirt doesn't work.
Yeah.
I'll be quite honest with you. The lines are gone halfway through the thing. Cars park they want. The fair, in order to be most efficient, needs to get as many cars as possible in there. It's on them to do that. That's not on us. Once I see that lot is getting near completion, I'm making a call, and that's it. And that's part of the conditions on the select board order, and they're going to fully with that. Then once I make the call, we're going to go to the
I think this plan is a culmination of years of work between the Carver Police, Carver Fire, EMS, and last year seemed to be a pretty good year. Unlike previous years, there really weren't midday calls with all kinds of traffic issues. It seemed to work very well.
Yeah, so once we get that congestion on Tremont Street, we know we can dump it on the Meadow Street. It solves the problem, and it clears it up, and then we don't end up with that congestion problem we had.
Any questions from the board?
No, if it worked well last year, I guess we'll keep with it this year, and I think the auxiliary parking is a benefit too, so it looks like we should be ready to go.
Yes, absolutely.
Quick question, do you have I don't know, we've always talked about the number count. How many customers does this handle? Any reading on that?
So last year when we had done a drone, we had taken a photo of the main lot. You could get around 1,900 cars in there, but it all depends on how efficiently they park it. Some days it might be less, some days it's a little bit more. There's nobody there counting cars as they come in, 'cause it just doesn't work to the flow. But that's about the number they can get there, and then we spill over through the auxiliary lot.
Okay, and if I could just pause for a second, I think we've been joined by another representative
Yes.
for King Richard's Fair. Welcome. If you could just introduce yourself to the folks at home.
Okay. Hi, I'm sorry I'm late. Thought we were on the agenda in like 15 minutes, so I really apologize. I'm Amy Bialik, got married, so it's no longer Sedley, and I am the general manager and producer of Edaville Entertainment Venue, which produces King Richard's Fair and the Edaville's Winter Wonderland.
Very nice to see you again. Welcome back.
Nice to see you.
We're just discussing the traffic plan. Seemed to work pretty well last year. Do you have anything? that you'd like to say about it?
No, it went really well, especially first year in. I'm very happy with it. Obviously, we learned a lot of things being first year in at Edaville, and what we could have for parking in the Edaville lots, and then having the auxiliary lots. We learned that having the airport, which we had thought would be a great start, ended up being too traffic congested, and so the one time we had an issue, we switched over to just be at the 235 Main Street address for the rest of the run. So, and now we have that locked in for the whole run.
Okay. Are there any other questions from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the King Richard's Fair
I
traffic.
just have a quick one. How many people go over the term?
It depends. It's all based on weather. It could be 80,000, it could be 100,000. It all depends on the weather and the weekend, yeah.
All right.
Mr. Allen, just one thing, please make sure you speak into the microphone, in case the folks who won't get hear you. All right,
I made
Mr. Cannon, do you have anything to add?
No comments.
All right.
Mr. Chair, are we voting on just the traffic plan at this point?
Right now, we're
Yes.
just voting to approve the traffic.
So I made a motion to approve the King Richard's Fair traffic plan.
Second?
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. And why don't we move on to a discussion and possible vote on the application for one-day special licenses for wine and malt.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is this, okay, so what about the order of conditions? Are we gonna discuss that at some point?
Yep, that's in here.
Okay.
That's in here.
Very good.
So our next agenda item is a discussion possible vote on application for one-day special license for wine and malt, Renaissance Food LLC for September 5th, 6th, 7th, 12th, 13th, 19th, 20th, 26th, 27th, and October 3rd, 4th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 17th, 18th, 24th, and 25th. Questions from the board? Yes.
Has this been modified from last year, or is it the same one that we used last year?
It's
The same,
It's the same.
Same as last year?
much like the traffic plan.
Okay.
The
And
questions
it's
from the
only,
board?
and it's
So,
just for
Mr.
wine and
Chair,
malt?
are we talking about the order of conditions now? Because that wording is not on the agenda.
Yeah, well, I think that the wording, the one-day special licenses are all subject to the conditions.
Okay.
And I will say, the conditions are tied to the entertainment license.
Yeah, that's right, not the common victual license.
Right, correct.
So I have a
Okay.
couple of comments. So, it's just a changing of a word from will to shall. And it happens several places. Number one, the fair operator will comply with traffic control plan. That should read shall. Section 4, no vehicles shall be allowed on any street in the town of Carver, and patrons shall not be permitted to walk. There was another one. And then at the end of number 4, it says written contracts for use of the lots will be provided by the operator. That should be shall be provided. Same for number 5, all traffic control measures in the traffic control plan shall be in place. And then the last one, I believe, is number 12. Hang on, it's a long one. Okay.
Let's see it in there.
I'm not seeing it now, I don't know where it was. Let's see, section 12. Commissions, volunteer, this one is just a comma. After the word commissions and before the word volunteers in the third sentence.
Okay. Any objections to those changes?
I'm just curious what the difference is.
The difference, there's a big difference if you shall do it. You can ask Mr. Corbo. I think that's more of a
So
legal
thing.
requirement.
Through you, Mr. Chair? Yes, we typically use shall to mean a mandatory requirement.
Yeah.
Any objections, folks?
None at all.
So I'll make a motion to
Well,
approve the
one
amendment.
other thing too, just on this, I think the workers' compensation, I'm sorry, the workers' compensation policy needs to be amended. The certificate of insurance needs to add Renaissance Foods. It's in addition to King's Fair LLC.
And where is that?
This is the one that
Right
expires.
here, I don't know if it's
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
packet or not.
so this actually, we're getting a new one that will comply with that, because this actually expires in a couple weeks anyway.
That's fine, just that you need to get that to us, so the conditions, the license will be subject to receiving that.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
where is that
Perfect.
found here, Mark, on the,
I don't know where it is in the packet, I was handed this before the meeting started here.
And you probably still have our one from last year, which is still in force until this expires, but I will get you it like I always do.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Mark, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, I have it attached to the one-day liquor license request.
Okay, that's fine.
Good. That's good.
Thank you.
So the motion to approve has to be subject to updated insurance liability.
Workers' comp insurance, certificate of liability.
Okay,
And the amendments.
any amendments? All right, so I'll make a motion. Well, should we vote on the amendment first and then vote on the, so
Sure.
you'd make a motion to approve the amended, the amendments to the license for the shells to the, I mean,
Will
the
to
will
shall.
to shall, and then the comma added to section 12.
Section 1, 2 places in 4, section 5,
All right,
and then the comma in 12.
all right, so the
Okay,
first
we
motion
have
is
a
to
motion.
accept
Is
the
there a second?
amendments.
Second.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
before you vote, so is the entity, legal entity different this year than last year?
No.
No, Renaissance Food LLC is the applicant licensee.
So are they both on the license?
Both, we have work comp for both, actually for all the entities under our corporations. But this one was what they thought I needed and sent me the wrong one. So this helps with any of the other, I mean, our normal operating at the fair. We operate under
Entertainment,
King's Fair. Entertainment, the operating arm of it. The food and beverage arm of it is under Renaissance Foods.
And we will have an updated one
Yes.
to you.
So food and beverage, does that include alcohol?
That does.
Yes, yeah, that's Renaissance Foods LLC is the food and beverage
So,
operator.
Mr. Chair, should Renaissance Foods LLC be added to this license?
Yeah, it should, I
Should,
just thought of that too.
absolutely,
It
yeah.
should.
They're
Remember we saw that.
they're the licensee.
Mhm.
They're
Well,
the
in the-
applicant license, for the 1 days.
In the conditions, it only mentions the fair operator.
Oh, well, then I think that makes sense. We don't have the conditions in front of us.
Yeah,
Correct.
Mr. Chair, the one I'm looking at is for entertainment, but I assume the liquor is the same.
I would assume, yeah.
Entertainment, is that a different entity?
It's a different entity.
Yeah.
So what's the entity for entertainment?
King's Fair LLC.
Okay. So then, on the alcohol license, the license holder is,
Renaissance Foods
Renaissance
Foods.
LLC,
So-
correct.
and I'm sorry, I was a little late, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair. I
no,
apologize.
no worries, but that's what's on there right now, is Renaissance Foods LLC.
Okay, and you're voting on the liquor license right now?
No, right now, we're voting on the,
For what it is.
well, oh, yes, well, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, yes,
this-
we
this
are,
is- yeah.
the one-day special liquor
Did we
license.
vote
And it's
on the order of
Just beer and
conditions?
wine, no liquor.
Fair wine.
Mr. Chair, did we vote on we voted on the order of conditions already?
No, we haven't
So
voted on
the order of conditions is attached to the entertainment license.
Okay.
So I think we didn't vote on the motion for the amendments yet, right?
No,
So there was a
we did
motion
not.
made
There
and a
was a motion,
second
I don't
to,
remember, was there a
to
second?
vote to make the amendments.
I seconded
And a
it.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you.
Now you need a motion
We need to add, amend, we need the motion with the amended certificate of insurance.
Yeah, this one's expired anyhow, so it's gotta be a new, this one's gonna
Right.
expire, so we need a new.
Updated certificate
updated.
with the updated wording.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the application for the one-day special license for wine and malt to Renaissance Foods LLC for the dates that were listed, and subject to receipt of an updated license renewal application, that certificate of liability insurance, which has the updated workers' compensation and valid. Did I get that?
I think you did. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, through you. So just to be clear, the same conditions are in the beer and wine license, correct?
It should be.
I was told that the conditions applied to the entertainment license.
They should apply to
They-
everything.
I would think they would apply to everything.
Well, they
But-
should, but I'm sorry to cut you off,
Yeah,
but last
no,
year I
it's
thought
fine.
it was one entity at both. And so if you're having two different entities hold these two different licenses, my suggestion would be that these conditions be in both licenses.
I agree with that. I think that's an excellent idea. So I think we should add those conditions to that. Do you have a suggested motion, Mr. Corvo, on this?
Sure, motion to approve, application for one-day license wine and malt Renaissance Foods LLC for the dates listed in the agenda and subject to the conditions, imposed on the entertainment license for King's Fair LLC as amended.
And updated.
And the updated
Certificate of liability insurance.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Is there a second discussion? Any issues?
None.
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Corvo. Next, we have a discussion and possible vote on an application of common victual license for Renaissance Food LLC. And they also need the updated workers' comp certificate for that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, and the conditions.
And the conditions. And the conditions should apply to every license we issue, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so moved to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Hearing none. Any issues?
No.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Next is a discussion of possible vote on application for Sunday license for King Richard's Fair LLC.
Is that also subject to same?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the application for the Sunday license for King's Fair LLC, subject to the same terms and conditions and updated insurance.
Second.
To clarify, Mr. Chair, Sunday licenses for entertainment?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't say it on here.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Any issues?
None.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. And finally, we have a discussion and possible vote on an application for the entertainment license for King's Fair LLC.
Motion to approve the application for the entertainment license for King's Fair LLC, subject to same conditions and updated certificate of liability insurance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussions? Hearing none. Any issues?
Nope.
All right.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. I think that might be the easiest King Richard's Fair discussion we've had in quite some time.
Yes.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll get you
Chief,
the
thank you as
certificate of
always for
inspection.
putting that traffic plan
Insurance.
together.
Thank you.
COI.
Mr. Corvo, sorry, Mr. Cannon, is there an issue?
No.
No, good, okay. All right, why don't we hop back in the agenda now to the 6:15 item, the approval of a determination of consent of KP Law pursuant to Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 1.7, representation of Carver and Middleborough relative to potable water agreement. This is actually an agreement that was approved by this board a couple of years ago. A lot of time has passed since then. We have a new board, and I just think we thought that it would be good to put it back on the agenda and have this board review it, and if they felt comfortable approving it. Mr. Corbo, would you like to give the board a little explanation on it?
Yes, thank you through you, Mr. Chair. So this is having to do with the an intermunicipal agreement between Town of Carver and the Town of Middleborough. Now that the North Carver Water District has been dissolved, the contracting party is the Town of Carver. As you know, I am the longtime town council for the Town of Carver. I am also the town council for the Town of Middleborough. And so before I can represent both parties in the same matter, I need to disclose what the circumstances of that representation are and give you an opportunity to object and to say, no, we're not comfortable with you representing both parties in this transaction. So just to sort of give you some background about this, these intermunicipal agreements are very common. I've drafted many of them for many cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth. And, you know, typically the way that I would approach this is that the business terms would be between the Select Board of Carver and the Select Board of Middleborough. And what would those be? You know, the rate per whatever measure of water, the maximum amount of water, whether there are any terms for how you divide capital costs, how you divide repair costs. All of those things are the business terms, and I don't have anything to do with that. I don't know how much water should cost. I don't necessarily care how much water should cost. But then what I do is I come in and I look at the legal terms of the agreement, and my job is to make sure that they're fair for both sides. And you know, so I'm going to look at things like to make sure that there are, you know, sufficient provisions for notice of termination, and you know, sufficient time for making payments, and you know, making sure that the contacts for each party are listed correctly, that you know, whether or not there's going to be, you know, indemnification or releases or things like that. Like, these are all sort of general legal terms that wouldn't favor one side or the other in an agreement like this, because you're both municipalities, you both have the same interest. It's just that one's selling water, one's buying the water. And so, you know, in my opinion, there is no conflict there, because I'm not pitting one against the other.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think there's probably an economy of scale, because I would bill each of you equally for the work that I do. But it's not for me to say whether or not that's a conflict. It needs to be something that you're comfortable with, and that the Select Board of Middleborough is comfortable with. They signed this approval a few years ago the same way that you did. I've given them the opportunity to look at it again. I haven't heard yet that they're doing that. So I don't have any reason to believe that they would object at this point, but certainly if they did, then I would have to step out and I wouldn't represent either party.
Is there anything in this agreement that would stop the Carver Select Board if, for whatever reason, they wanted to get some advice on one part or another part of this agreement? They could certainly contact outside counsel and get that advice, correct?
Absolutely. I would never stop you from doing something like that.
All right, other questions from the board? Mr. Ryan?
Are there any legal terms that could benefit one community over the other, the way it's written legally?
I mean, I guess the short answer to that is, well, yes, of course, right, terms can be written in certain ways, but, you know, as I think about this sort of off the top of my head, like one thing, like if I was being presented with a contract from a third party, right, they would have indemnification in there, right, and it's my position that, you know, well, as a town, you cannot indemnify a third party, but here, you're both towns, and so neither party would have that type of language. And more commonly what we would say, unless you agree otherwise, right, Carver's responsible for what happens on its side of the line, and Middleborough is responsible for what happens on its side of the line. And you know, there might be some terms where there's work to be done, and you might want to say, like, for example, when roads are an issue, right, if you dig up a road to put in a pipe, some contracts might say, well, you just patch over the pipe, whereas other contracts might say, you know, you have to restore the road curb to curb. But that's a business term that I would leave up to you, and I would flag it as a business term and to say, you know, do you both agree to this?
So your role should just make sure it's a legal document, but anything in that legal document should be negotiated between the towns.
That's
even
right.
like
That it's
payment
a legal-
terms and all that stuff.
Right,
and-
that it's a legal binding document,
Okay.
that the wording carries out what you intend for it to carry out, you know, because you may look at it and think, oh, well, we're only obligated to do this, but I might look at it and say, well, the way that this is written, you're really obligated to do that too, and is that what you intend? And that's the kind of advice that I would be giving on this.
So you're more like a legal facilitator to a certain extent?
Yeah, right, exactly. You know, get you guys in the same room. I'll, you know, shuttle messages back and forth, et cetera, but I have no reason to put my hand on the scale. You know, it's really up to you to decide whether you're negotiating a good deal or not. And my job is just to help you to get pen to paper if that's what you decide you want to do.
Mr. Corbo, if my memory serves me correct, this happened before, and both towns agreed that it was, they felt it was, both select boards in both towns agreed that they didn't feel it was a conflict. Is that?
That's correct. There was a prior agreement that I represented both parties on, and I've never heard there was any issues with that.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
If there were potential litigation of one town against another, how would that be handled in this?
Then that would have to be something separate. I would not represent either party in litigation concerning the agreement.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Sorry, one more thing.
Yes.
And if we work together to have an agreement, as the chair said, we're not precluded from saying, if this person exists out there, a legal specialist that does these municipal water agreements for a living, to review it and say, hey, you know, they might comment on certain strategic issues that would benefit one side or the other, but if that was even needed, that doesn't preclude us from doing that.
No, that you would never be precluded from doing that if at any time, you say, geez, this part is a little bit, making us feel a little uncomfortable. We'd like to get a second set of eyes on this. I would not object to that.
Has KP Law run into any issues in the past with intermunicipal agreements, and how's that been handled?
We handle it like this on many, many occasions, but there are occasions where, frankly, towns don't get along with each other sometimes, right? And they would say, no, we don't want the same lawyer on both sides. We want our own lawyer to make sure that that other town is not getting a leg up on us. I have no reason to believe that that would happen here, but like I said, we can start down the road, and if at any point in time you feel that there's something that's making you uncomfortable, I would not interfere. In fact, I would help you find someone who could, give you that assistance. And in fact, I would venture to guess that there's already an agreement in place, right, between Middleborough and North Carver Water District. There may not be that many changes to it that have to be done, other than the rate and the amount of water.
Anything else?
For what it's worth, I have the utmost faith in Mr. Coble and his ability to be impartial. I actually don't even see him being in the room when we negotiate with Middleborough. I believe we will negotiate a deal with Middleborough, and then when we're done negotiating, we'll hand that document off to Mr. Coble to make sure all the legality is in there. I don't see him even, like I say, being at the negotiating table.
Okay. Anything else? If not, is there a motion?
I move that we
Approve.
approve, let's see, where is it here?
The sixth.
We approved, KP Law has our consent pursuant to Mass Rules of Professional Conduct, Rule 1.7, to represent Carver and Middleborough relative to a potable water agreement.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Let's see, is there anything else on this particular agenda?
Have you already talked about the 610 item?
The
The update on North Carver Water
Yes.
District?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we did. But we can revisit that if you think there's anything we need Mr. Corbo to comment on. Mr. Cannon, is there anything?
I don't, well, Mr. Coble, if you want to give us, remember, we had the discussion about the Department of Revenue and their interaction with the town of Carver. If you remember this discussion, that has resurfaced now with all the North Carver Water District talk. Do you want to just give the board about your interaction with the Department of Revenue? And again, I think it was very minimal. Like, I think you had the same discussion I did with them, that once they found out that the select board was not involved in discussions, they actually withdrew from the process. That was my recollection.
That's my recollection as well, that, honestly, I believe it was the district that engaged
Yes.
the Department of Revenue to do something that was referred to as an audit, although my recollection of the discussion was that they didn't necessarily see it as being an audit. I think it was more like a review and recommendations. This is what we've seen, we think you should do this instead of that. If that is something that is that the board is interested in, maybe before you get too far down the road with Middleborough, to kind of have your ducks in a row and know what you have there, that's something that they would be willing to do for you. but only if you were to agree to it. It's not intended to be a penal or, you know, a gotcha kind of thing. It really is more of just kind of going through the records and identifying, okay, here's what you have, here's where you may have gone wrong in the past, here's where you might be able to do things better in the future.
That would probably benefit the town, I think, and I would suggest you put that on our next agenda in September, perhaps between now and then you could have a conversation with DOR and Mr. Corvo and get the appropriate wording and find out what the board needs to do, but that sounds like something probably worthwhile.
Well, you know, actually, Mr. Chairman, you know, now that we mentioned, Mr. Colvin just jogged my memory here. You know, in reality, right, the former North Carver Water District and the financial entity there will now be part of the town of Carver audit. So we'll have a true audit done. So that's even, you know, even better for the residents, right? You know, we'll know,
absolutely.
Right, we'll be able to track all of the funding that comes out of there. So, you know, again, I'm gonna say that'll pick up in the FY27 audit, because we haven't owned it till FY27, but, you know, we could maybe even ask them to dig back a couple of years, to see if there's anything we could find that we can improve upon, but,
Absolutely.
again, it will be included in our audit from now on, so,
Well, I
that's a
think
good thing.
between now and the next meeting, have a
Yeah.
conversation with DOR and see what the suggestions are. Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
No, that's a good
Sounds
idea.
And I would say, Mr. Chair, it might also be timely, given the fact that you have some changeover in the finance department. You know, that might give whoever's coming in next, right, a little bit of a leg up, you know, to have that review have been done.
That's an excellent point, thank you. Okay, anything else on that? All right, I don't think, Mr. Cannon, is there anything else on this agenda we need Mr. Corvo for?
I
don't
believe
see
so.
anything.
No, sir.
All right,
All right.
thank you as always, we
Yes, thank
appreciate
you.
it.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good summer.
All right, next item on the agenda this evening is a discussion and possible vote for the select board to attend the Town of Acushnet Board of Selectmen meeting to discuss the Old Colony Regional Vocational Technical High School, to discuss next steps along with the boards of the regional member towns. This was sort of an unusual invitation we got from the Acushnet Town Administrator,
Yes, it is.
correct? Have they set a date or an agenda or anything like that?
They haven't set neither, not a date or an agenda. They are waiting to hear back from the other towns. I can tell you that I know that Lakeville and Mattapoisett Select Boards did vote to attend this meeting, to be determined in the future. I did talk to the Rochester Town Administrator today. He said his board did not vote, but they do plan on attending.
Okay.
So
It's hard to know who can attend and who can't if we don't even know what the date is
correct.
for the meeting. And in all honesty, it seems a little strange, who sets the agenda for this meeting? I mean, is it the Acushnet Select Board setting this agenda for everybody, or?
At this point, I would say it is the Christian Select Board that's setting the agenda.
Well-
To my knowledge, the last I checked, the Old Colony School District had not been invited, but I can double check again.
Okay, which seems a little unusual too, that you're gonna have a discussion of the future of the Old Colony School, but you're
Yeah.
not gonna invite the Old Colony School.
Yeah, they should invite the Old
Yeah,
Colony School.
and that may have changed, but
Yeah.
at the time I talked to him, he was not invited.
So is this, I mean,
What do they want to talk about?
yeah, well, we don't even
We
know,
don't
because there's
know.
no agenda.
Well, he did write in the letter, and I believe the letter is in your packet, you know, he wants to talk about the school vote, you know, and what we do in the future. Whether or not, you know, kind of the 5 towns want to go back to the MSBA and reconsider our project, or do we want to go step by step the way it was outlined? You know, again, I did talk to the Old Colony Superintendent. I believe he said the water tank is of critical nature and will be moving forward, you know, right now, as soon as they can anyways. But again, so I think it's kind of I'm somewhat assuming it, I think it's more of the larger picture there.
So I guess my question is, if they pick a date for this meeting, and they set an agenda, and they send that out, do we need to take a vote of the board to allow members of the board to attend? Can't we just send it to everybody and say, hey, they're having this meeting, and if you're free that night, you
You'd
can
probably
go?
have to post the meeting, because the question
And
is
we
if
would
they.
definitely have
And
to
we
post
don't
it.
know
They-
what's on the agenda.
Well, if they have, you might have to vote at that meeting, so that's the question, of whether
Yeah,
we're gonna
I
wanna
mean-
vote from the town on
Well,
any matter.
I think we should have Old Colony there, and if they don't want Old Colony, why? I mean, that's what we're talking about.
There's a lot of questions
Yeah.
here, and again, we really have no input on it, it just, we got this request from the Acushnet
Chris Town Administrator.
Town Administrator. But what are your thoughts, Mr. Cannon? Because this could come up before our next meeting. So do you think do we need a vote of the board?
I don't think you need it, but it does express your interest, I could pass that along to them. I think before they call a meeting, they wanna see that all 5 towns are interested in the meeting. Again, if they do, select a date and a time and, the majority of the board can attend, you can certainly attend as individual members.
Right,
Well,
well,
be
could we,
more-
if, let's just say that 3 members of the board were available to attend, couldn't they just let you know so you post a meeting?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, they could.
that's-
Yes, we could always post a meeting.
we could vote if the board wants to vote, I just don't understand the purpose of the vote, that's all.
I would like to insist that Old Colony be there, if that's.
Yeah,
I'm happy to pass that along.
Yeah, because.
I would also
I mean,
support that, it seems
really.
a little foolish to me to have this meeting
Yeah,
without
that's the
the
topic.
school there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, does anyone else have any thoughts here?
I think we can, if they do, I think they're looking for feedback, and I guess the feedback is that, if they have a meeting and an agenda, then we'll certainly, members are available, they probably would attend it.
Yeah.
And then we could post if the time comes. So,
And I guess the other question I would ask, and perhaps you could pass this on, is are the member towns going to have input on the agenda? Because there may be something that
Mhm.
someone on this board would like on that agenda to discuss, and it's a little hard to know. But, okay, well, if you don't think a vote is necessary, then you can let him know that individual board members will try to attend if they can, and let us know, and certainly I don't know about the rest of the board.
Yeah.
But certainly a couple of members of the board feel that Old Colony should be invited to the meeting.
Yeah, I
And
will
we,
mention.
and we should be allowed to speak.
Yeah, well, certainly we should be allowed to speak, and perhaps might like input on the agenda,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so,
okay,
anyone else?
sounds good.
All right, so you'll let us know
I will,
when we
yes.
receive this? Okay. All right, next is the appointment of temporary town accountant Eric Kinshirf, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 55, effective September 9th, 2026.
And this, Mr. Chairman, is our finance director, town accountant, is resigning and moving on to a different town. So we do need a temporary replacement until we fill that position. Mr. Kinship has worked for the town of Carver on numerous occasions. He is actually already, we've already brought him on board, so we have a little bit of overlap, so he can, pick Karen's brain while she's still here, if you will, and be involved in some of the initiatives we have moving forward right now. So
I'm sure there are questions on this. The questions on the board? Mr. Carter?
Are there any numbers as far as what he'd be I guess he's a consultant, right? What he'd be charged an hour, there'll be savings without that salary? But I don't know if we need to pay the consultant, and then you have to pay overtime for any additional help you might need from staff. Are you putting anything to do you sense this is gonna be an overage on the budget?
I don't sense that. The one thing about it, it does come out of 2 different budget lines. One is the consultant budget line, and then the other one is would be Karen's salary. So
Mhm.
actually Karen's salary would cover any overtime that would be required, so I wouldn't see an issue there if we don't fill the position soon. The budget line, I'll let you know if
But
we.
you'll provide us with the hourly rate?
Correct. I don't have it in front of me, sorry.
And there's no one on staff right now that can pick up some of these duties to save us a little bit of money?
Well, staff is picking up some of the duties, yes. They're gonna be more involved in, as they have been, they've been trained to do. They just can't fulfill all the duties of the town accountant / finance director.
Okay, are there any other questions on the board?
No.
All right, is there a motion?
I move we temporarily appoint town accountant Eric Kinshirf in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 55, effective September 9th, 2026.
Second.
Okay, and we have a motion and a second discussion, and I guess I have one question. Should there be a period here? Are we just appointing him until we hire somebody, or is there?
Until it is rescinded, I would say.
Okay.
Because we don't have a date, we don't have somebody to step in yet.
So I'll revise that motion and say until such appointment is rescinded.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. Are there any other questions on the board? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Town administrator update. Mr. Yes, I think I skipped some, but I can't.
Ranking.
7:35.
Thank you. I knew it was on there somewhere, I just couldn't find it. Thank you. Next is a discussion and possible vote on the ranking of fiscal year 2027 Select Board and Town Administrator goals. Why don't we take the Select Board goals first? And I think we've discussed this at a couple of different meetings now, so I don't know if we need to have more discussion, or if the board feels we can just go in and go around and give everybody their people's individual rankings. What are the thoughts of the board? Yes, Ms. Hill.
I have a point. The first select board goal, I don't know why I didn't see this before, increase new commercial tax base by 10%. I don't understand why people don't understand. A town administrator can't increase a commercial tax base by 80%. You can't make a commercial entity move to town. You can condition their permit, you can make, you can lower their taxes, or you can do lots of things to incentivize, but you can't just, it's magic to increase the tax base by 10%.
I think we discussed that a little bit at the last meeting, but it was
Well,
Mr.
my opinion still holds.
I understand. Mr.
I think you can. I think it's a good goal. I'm not saying that it's gonna be people on this board that are gonna help. It's gonna be people on the staff that are gonna help. I think that's a great goal for the town, though, given where we are.
It may be a goal for the town, but it's, I
Well,
don't
these
see
are the
how a
select board
select
goals.
board as a board can do that on
Well, I
our
think as long
own,
as-
or the town administrator.
I would disagree.
Planning board
I
can't
think-
do that either, by the way.
I think that we can assist the staff, like I just said, in helping out with facilitating commercial development in town.
How do you do that?
You meet with people who wanna move here to the town, you talk about tax incentives or whatever it is that will help commercial businesses move to the town. I mean, this is
But that's
done-
not our job. Our job is policy.
I would disagree. I think
Well, you should read the job description, because our job is policy.
Well-
I'm sorry, I'm not, no offense.
No, that's
It's
fine.
just the
I
way it
would
is.
I think everyone has their own goals that they set for the board, and it's up to this board to vote on those goals and rank those goals. I think that if,
But it's an unachievable goal. So, I don't understand that. If you look at the town definition, the definitions of select boards, that's not in there. There's no way you can actually do that. We're the policymakers. If you want to make it a goal, that's fine, but just don't be disappointed.
yes, Mr. Cox.
Since I think that, whether it's in, I guess I'm known for not being in my lane, but I think that I think it does, if the board unanimously says that we want to see an increase, great if we can't hold them to 10% increase, but we certainly can push.
Again, remember, let's keep in mind, we're talking about the select board goals
Yeah,
now,
that's-
not the
yeah.
town
Yeah,
administrator.
we are. It says select board
But-
goals, number 1, increase new commercial tax rate.
I understand.
It's the select board goals for the town administrator.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we, the select board, believe we wanna increase commercial tax base,
Okay,
how do
so-
you do it?
So the
Then-
problem is, if you set that as one of his goals, and he fails that because it's impossible for him to do that, then what?
Well, you say impossible, I say it's not. I say that he is the person that needs to drive this increase, whatever it may be, by meeting with the town planner. Town planner works for the town administrator. He has to give the town planner the mandate. This is what I would like
Yeah,
to do.
but the town planner or the planning board can't do that either. The businesses have to come to the town.
How do other towns do it? Do we just turn around and say,
The
hey,
towns-
we don't have the ability, so we're not gonna increase our commercial
No,
tax
they
base?
do other things. They could lower the tax rate, there's a bunch of stuff, but you can't make a business come here.
All right, I think this is a greater discussion. Right now, we're talking about ranking goals. This
Okay.
was something that one member of the board had as a
Yeah,
goal.
I'm not attacking
And-
anybody
I
here.
I
It's just-
understand.
understand.
I
It's an
understand.
impossible goal,
But-
that's all.
But I think this was somebody's goal.
Okay,
And
very
I think
good.
we should rank them.
Just realize
and-
it
and-
won't be attainable, that's all, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you.
How do you want to rank them?
Well, I mean, is there anyone that feels we need to discuss these goals a little more? I mean, I personally think we've discussed them at 2 meetings. I'm ready to rank mine, but,
Okay.
so what I would say is, we go around and we read off our goals, and Ms. Weston can,
You'll take.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
You said you were talking about the select board goals, and John said these are select board goals for the town administrator, so are we talking about
right now, we're talking about the goals for the select
just
board.
the select
Yeah.
board?
This is
not-
next, after we do this,
I just wanna
we're gonna talk
clarify.
about the goals for the town administrator.
Okay.
But right now, we're talking about the goals for the Carver Select Board.
I do agree there's a commonality there because you got to work together on a lot of the goals. So they should
But
be
these are the
aligned.
select board goals.
Yes.
These are,
Yeah.
All right, so I'll read off mine, and then anybody can go, whoever wants to go next can go next. So my top goal for the select board was number 2 on this list, stay on top of key, I'm not gonna read it all, but stay on top of key important town items. There's a whole number of things in there. That includes the North Carver Water District. That was one of my goals, but since this one includes the North Carver Water District, I put that as number 1. Number 2 was number 3 on this list, the finance and budget goal. I think that's very important. And number 3 was number 4 on this list, the capital funding. Number 4 was number 6, the update to the master plan. And number 5 was number 5, our update to our open space and recreation plan. Those were my top 5 goals. And whoever would like to go next can go
I
next.
think 7 is also part of what you've said for the most important issues that we need to address timely. I think that 7 and 2 are very much the same.
I think they're very much the same. That's why I went with number 2.
And my list is the same as yours. I think that staying on top of town issues, what impacts the residents is probably primarily, we gotta always stay on top of things that are going on in town. And finance and budget, I'm always concerned about that we really need a 5-year plan. We wanna make sure we can meet our budgets with the funding or the revenue that's available. I agree to that. And then I have the capital as my number 3. The master plan sounds good for number 4, and open space for 5. Same list.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
Go next.
Sure, is yours?
Yeah, so my first one would be number 2, stay on top of the key important town issues. Then number 8, institute a process review of all healthcare expenses on a quarterly basis. Then number 4, then number 5, I beg your pardon. Then number 6, update the master plan, which is last updated in 2017, so we become eligible for state grant funding.
That's your number 3.
Yes, it is. And my number 4 is update the open space and recreation plan, which is also badly out of date. That also ensures state grant funding. And the last one is 4.
Okay. Well, Mr. Carter, Mr. Elliman, who would like to go next?
you can go.
I'm fine with the 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, but I would add what is listed there as number 1 is the number 6 goal. How about that? Just to add one, unless you can only have 5.
No, it's just ranking.
Usually we only have 5, but
Yeah.
I think we're certainly aware that this is one of your goals.
Yeah,
And-
you can put it last in the list, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Mr. Carter?
For me, it's gonna be 3, 4, 2, 7, 1.
Ms. Weston, did you get that?
I did.
Yeah,
All right.
well, good for you.
All right.
All right, would you like to give us, a minute to add that up?
Well, when you say add it up, I mean tally.
Tally them.
So, the number 1 goal was number 2, stay on top of key important town items. Number 2 is 3, finance and budget. Number 3 would be 4, work with everyone involved for capital. Number 4 would be 6, update the master plan. And number 5 would be 5, open space and recreation plan.
All right, thank you. If you could later on, just email those out to the board tomorrow. So now we move on to the town administrator goals for FY 2027. And please, Mr. Cannon, if, as we're ranking these or reading them off, if you have some question or feel that for some reason they don't quite fit your job description, please let us know, okay?
Okay.
So, again, I'll be glad to start off with mine unless somebody else would like to start off. I had number 4 as my number 1, which people know me, they know the North Carver Water District has always been on the top with me. Number 2, I had number 2, communication. Number 3, I had number 8, which is to develop a funding plan for capital needs. Number 4, I had number 7, which was the master plan. And number 5, I had number 6, which was the open space and recreation. Those are my 5. Would anyone like to go next?
Sure. So I have the communications as number 1, which involved keeping the select board informed and sharing list of actions and good decision-making, accurate information. That was my number 1. My second is still the budget and finance. I think that's still important to the town. We stay on top of that. I had the North Carver Water District as 3. And then I had the capital budget as 4.
I'm sorry, which one was North Carver Water?
Yeah, where is it?
3.
Did we
No,
say?
Number
sorry.
4, North Carver Water District is number 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then what was your number 4?
Number 8.
Remember, you just give
Number
Ms.
8.
Weston the numbers next.
Sorry, communications is number 2, right? So that was at the top of my list.
Yeah, I have 2, 3, 4.
And then 3 was
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
And then 4 was next.
Yeah.
And then I had the capital needs, is that
Yeah, number 8.
That's
Yeah.
number 8 next. And then I had number 9, the succession planning, in my list.
Okay. Who would like to go next?
You just want 5,
Okay.
right?
Please go.
So I had number 3. Number 3 is the first one. Number 4 is the second one. Number 6 is third. Number 7 is fourth. And number 8 is fifth.
All right. Mr. Element, would you like to go next?
Give me a minute.
Okay.
I'll go.
Mr. Cox?
89351.
Wow, there you
Wow.
go.
8,
89351.
3, 5.
Jim,
Well,
you're
number
tiebreaker.
1.
You're the tiebreaker.
Yeah, this could be much more difficult scoring here.
We're
Yeah.
gonna have to read.
We
You're
have
welcome.
to think about this one.
No pressure, Jim.
I know.
Jim, would you like a little time to think, we can move on to the next agenda item and come back to this?
Yeah, because the scoring right now, they're all different.
Okay.
There's no
There's no clear,
duplicates. There's no
Yes,
duplicates on
I
any
think
of
we
the
should
goals.
come back to this.
Okay.
I need a minute to.
All right. All right.
It won't take me that long, but let's. move on.
That's fine. Why don't we move on to the town administrator update? Actually, Mr. Cannon, can I ask you one question on these while we're reviewing?
Oh.
So as far as your goals, number 3, the budget finance one?
I do want, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I guess my question is, since we're in the process of looking for a new finance director, how do you think, if it would at all, that would impact the transition from Vadar to another computer system?
Correct. I mean, I want to be clear with the board. At this point right now, that transition is on hold. And for 2 things. One is number funding. We don't have the money to move away from Vadar to, I would say, the one that has been identified as the topic. With the old Munis, they call it Tyler Technologies now. But then also, you know, during the interview process, we do talk to about potential finance director applicants. about transitioning when they have experience in transitioning. So, you know, I have to bring the new finance director in here, give an evaluation as to the level of comfort that this person has with the transition. You know, to quite honestly, I think we're in the position right now with Vadar because that transition did not go well with the last finance director. That whole transition plan probably should not have been undertaken while we're in the transition of a finance director.
Yeah.
I don't want to repeat that mistake. That's what it comes down to.
And it was a serious mistake, Mr. Ryan.
I just want to add to it, you know, it seems like it was a clear message from our department heads who use the system that they absolutely want to get off Vadar. So I think we need a plan. When we do it is probably the issue, you know, the timing of it. But it seems to me that all of them except one have spoken up and said we absolutely need to get off of Vadar because it's impacting us.
Well, I think there is a plan, but we don't have a finance director, and we
Right.
don't have the money.
But I think Mr. Townsend saying as a goal, he was challenging it as a goal potentially, but I still think we need a plan and
Yeah, well, I think we can still have a plan. I do. I did think it was interesting, Mr. Ryan. You know, when the staff first got involved with the Vadar, you know, they were very much against it. And again, I thought the transition didn't go well. Right? And I wasn't here for it, but from everything I've heard, the transition didn't go well. When we reassessed it, I did think maybe some of the staff would have moved on, that they had become accustomed to Vadar, the work product, how it did.
No one that I've talked to has moved on.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
They were quite adamant about moving away from Vadar. So I do think it is more of a timing issue than it is anything else. And again, I just don't want to set the town up. You know, I don't want to rush this down there. You know,
Right.
and that's what happened last time, right? It got pushed down their throats.
Right.
It didn't go well. The training didn't go well. You know, again, I just don't want to repeat that mistake.
And just let me be clear, the reason I brought it up is I want to make sure when we set goals that we're fair.
Right.
And I don't want to give the town administrator a goal that is unattainable. I just don't want to give it, and when we set these goals, the finance director had not resigned.
Right.
So this is something new, but I also agree with Mr. Ryan though, that there's a clear message from,
Yeah.
rarely have I seen anything unanimously approved in town hall. Like
Absolutely.
I've seen people
Yeah.
want to move on from Vadar, and I think one way or another, that has to be something, a priority for you to find the funding and find a way to make that happen.
You
But-
could reword it as a transition plan instead of the actual transition.
And
as long as
I
we
guess
put
what I
plan
would
in
say,
place.
once we get past when Mr. Elliman gives us his goals, I think you should take a little time to review those goals for you. And if you think there's for whatever reason, there's one of those goals that you feel might need to be a little more defined, or we need to talk a little bit, let's put it on the next agenda.
Sure.
And let's talk
Yeah,
about it.
And I think, you know, maybe the Vadar goal is one that we do discuss throughout the year. You know, maybe it's just part of the town administrator update, and we just talk about it as we go, so that when it comes time to evaluate it, we all know where we stand on it. You know, trust me, no
Well-
problem being open with the board about.
My only concern is I don't want the board to expect this to happen anytime soon, given that we don't have the money and all the conditions you raised. Because that would, as Mark said, that would be very unfair.
Quick question, what is the potential consultant being here? What's his knowledge of Vadar? Is he a Vadar expert?
He is, I would say, he is an expert in many different systems, including Vadar and Munis. He does support the move to Munis. He believes it is a superior system. You know, and remember, I want to say he works throughout Massachusetts. I think primarily in the South Shore. He's based out of Cape Cod. I think he works primarily in the South Shore. But he works throughout Massachusetts. You know, he sees, honestly, I think all town accountants see Munis as the premier municipal finance software. I've heard that up and down my career, I can tell you right now, from every town administrator and every finance director I've ever talked to.
Okay. Well, why don't you give us your town administrator update, and then we'll come back to Mr. Allen.
I have mine listed.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
23851.
All right.
Okay, we're ready to rank.
Okay.
He broke the tie.
Okay.
Okay, so,
No pressure.
so the number one goal would be communication.
What number is that?
Number two.
Number two.
Sorry. Number two, communication. The second goal would be number 3, budget and finance, with A changing to a transition plan instead of transitioning into the new accounting system. Number 3 goal would be 8, which is the develop the funding plan for capital needs. Goal number 4 would be number 5, ensure that the select board has up-to-date and accurate information for their agenda items. And goal number 5 is number 1, increase new commercial tax base by 10%. You said it wasn't
Not for
possible.
nothing, but those were my orders, so.
You said, so earlier the board said that was not possible to do? Is this not an attainable goal for the town administrator?
Well, I think it's pretty factual that it's not possible. And I think it's, if you're giving that goal to the TA, that he's being set up for failure.
Mr. Cannon, do you want to discuss that a little bit, or would you prefer to wait for the next week?
Yeah, let me dig into it a little bit more. You know, I certainly want to be supportive of the town, the select board. I mean, I actually believe in trying to increase the commercial tax base in here. Again, I don't want to set myself up for failure. I really don't. I think this is one where the board may have to have some leeway. Of course, the one thing about it is also a select board goal, right? So, you know, if we're really truly in this.
I don't think it was.
But it
written
didn't
to
make
be
a top
like one
five.
goal.
I was gonna ask a question on that. Would it make more sense, and would that be acceptable, to come up with a report of how we would do it? You know, like some kind of a report at the end of the year says, here's the ways the town can do it, instead of effectively, sounds like the issue is here, you can't by the end of the year have increased our commercial tax base by 10%. That's probably impossible and unattainable. But if you had a report that you could create that would say how the town could go about creating our tax base by 10%, that was a good, that was informative and accurate, that might be a better goal.
Yeah,
If
I think
Ms.
that is a
Dellerman was
much better
okay with
goal.
that.
Well, it depends on how you define that. I mean,
Yeah.
if you ask the town, that means town employees to do that, and it's not their job.
Why don't we discuss it at the next?
It's not, it's not
Think
of
about
our
it a little, how
jobs.
you want to
Okay.
discuss
Okay.
it. Perhaps you could have a conversation with Mr. Elliman
Yeah.
between now and the next meeting, and then we'll put it on the next agenda, and we'll, I think we should discuss all of your goals, quite frankly. Take a look at them, and if you're comfortable, then that's fine. We don't need to do anything, but I certainly don't want you to have goals that you feel for one reason or another are
Yeah.
unattainable, and I don't think that's fair, so.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Town administrator update.
You know, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna apologize if I repeat myself here. I thought I had mentioned this last one, but I just want to make sure I get it in there. It's the Snowball renewal fund from the state, and I can't remember if I told you an amount. That's what it came down to. I have $211,768. So this is state funding to help with the blizzards of '26 is what it comes down to. Every town in the South Shore has a significant negative budget on snow removal, and the state did kick in to help us out with that. There were 2 components to it, I can tell you right now. There was $80 million to be distributed across the towns based on pretty much the Chapter 90 funding that they do for the cities and towns. And then there was 20% done by a grant, and we're applying for that grant right now as an additional funding. So we'll see if some additional money comes in on that one too.
Is that grant subject to being an MBTA Communities Act town?
I have not heard that, so I think we can still apply for it anyways.
And
Okay.
just, I was gonna ask what our
Yes.
deficit was. How does that impact, what was the deficit?
And the deficit was in excess of $400,000. I don't have the number memorized, but it was significant.
All right, thank you.
Of which there is, you know, many times there is a deficit in snow and ice. And it's one of the only accounts you're allowed to go into a deficit by state law. But
Right,
this
I'm
one
thinking
is-
at the end of the year, what they're gonna reconcile it by probably taking it from free cash, but this helps if they put the 211
Correct.
towards it,
Sure,
then
it does.
it means it'll help us towards that free cash certification at the end of the year as to
Right.
the amount.
anything we can do to bring that deficit down.
Right.
It was mentioned by Mr. Seednoff today, there is a new town website that is has been transitioned to right now. It certainly has a different look to it. I would say under the town departments, there is significantly more information now than there was before, which I think is probably good for residents, because we like to give as much information as possible out there whenever you're looking for any item you're looking for within the town. So take a look at it. We are going to be updating that as we move forward also. you know, always try to refine it, make things easy to find for residents. You know, you never really know what comes up to the top of residents, what they're really looking for. You know, sometimes it's the little things, it's the dog licenses and the beach permits more than, they get more hits than anything else, you know? But, so we'll see how that goes. This is just I'm a person who likes to hold on to summer as long as possible. The Carver Public Library has initiatives right now for you to take big books to the beach. They have a watercolor beach theme on Wednesday, August 12th at 6 p.m. Again, I like to hold on to summer as long as I can, and I can support the library and get some relaxation. I like to do that very much. I do want to update the board a little bit on where we stand with the healthcare issue. We did have a significant deficit coming into FY27. We are still negotiating with the Insurance Advisory Committee. That's the committee made up of all the unions in town. We did have a meeting with them, talked about the deficit, how they can help out with that deficit. If you recall, there is a mitigation fund out there. Last I looked at it, had over $200,000 in it. It does not get heavily utilized. We are talking to them about transferring that money over to the town and applying it to the deficit. So that's one of the initiatives we're looking at. I'll have an update as we move into September also.
Okay. Perhaps one of the September meetings, that would be a good agenda item. If you, the second meeting, if you think you need more time to,
You might.
But that would probably be a good agenda item to update the board on.
I will tell you the majority of that Insurance Advisory Committee, it's a weighted average, so it does go by the school teachers. They have the largest block. They did ask for September when school's back in session. I don't know. Many of the teachers are traveling right now.
Well, when you get enough information to
I will,
to
but
put
maybe
the
the second
agenda item
meeting in
together.
September.
Yeah.
And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Just
All right. Yes.
follow up, at a future select board meeting, should we have an executive session to talk about the whole healthcare audit and litigation issues and things like that?
Yeah.
Certainly.
We would need probably Sue Shalou
Yeah.
for that, right?
Or Mr. Clifford.
Mr. Clifford, yeah.
He's been
Yeah,
involved.
I think that's a good idea, thank you.
We should have been moving by now, but.
Yeah, no, thank you, that's a good idea. Anything else? Okay. Let's see, topics not reasonably anticipated by the chair 48 hours in advance, there are none. We have the approvals of the minutes of July 7th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 7, 2026.
All right, the motion and a second, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, thank you. We have the approval of the executive session minutes of July 7th, 2026, not for release.
I'll make a motion to approve the executive session minutes of July 7, 2026, not for release.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? It is unanimous, thank you. Select board announcements. Mr. Cotter.
I just want to mention the congratulations to everyone for the Old Home Day celebration, and I saw the fireworks display, I went to it, and I thought it was absolutely spectacular. I would love to do that every single year if we could find money in the budget, but I think that it was just something I've never seen before, so hats off to everyone involved. Also, I just wanted to, again, we talked at the beginning of the meeting about some losses that we've had, and I just wanted to express my personal condolences to Art Borden and his family. Everyone's important, but I knew Art well, and I just wanted to express my condolences.
Thank you. Mr. Ryan?
Same here. I was going to say Art Borden will be missed. I just want to recognize, that he was a, Carver citizen that gave a lot of time to making Carver a better place, and he will be very much missed. I also wanted to mention too, the Old Home Day was a good event, and I had a lot of positive comments about the fireworks, that people really enjoyed them. Maybe we could do them every 5 or 10 years. I don't see why we have to wait for 25, but I guess it would be something worth talking about. They could always vote them up or down at town meeting, but it might be worth thinking about it every 5 to 10 years. Also wanted to say the farmers market's still going on. I missed it last week because I was away, but please remember the farmers market. It's a good event to attend. The airport committee just wanted to mention that they're going to try to do outreach and surveys to get input from residents, about how things that they can look at or things to do better. They're still, looking at ways to minimize noise and things like that. I mentioned last time that they're working with the Alpha One to try to minimize the traffic on, or the flights on holidays. So they're going to recognize that on a holiday or the day of the holiday. They want to work with the flight schools if people are trying to do barbecues and things like that to help reduce the noise. And then mention to people, Carver Night Out is coming up on this Thursday. It's a good time. It's always a good event to go to. Free food, raffles, lots to win, lots to see. So it's a good event. So hopefully people will remember to attend the Carver Night Out on Thursday at 5 o'clock. It starts, ends at 9.
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank you. Mr. Elliman?
No, I guess I'm just happy to, that we got the North Carver Water District into our purview here for the town. I think it's gonna be great for the town, and, I look forward to working with you guys and you and the staff to however we can implement it and get it going.
Ms. Ewens?
Oh, thank you. First, I would like to thank the town administrator for getting that article on the town meeting warrant last year to dissolve the North Carver Water District. This has been a long process, and it's been going on a lot longer than people realize, so I appreciate that. And I agree about Old Home Day. It was wonderful. And I want to thank town meeting voters. They're the ones that allowed us to do fireworks.
Went back and forth a few times, but eventually.
But they agreed, and that was wonderful. Also, just a reminder of Shane Gives Thanks Pantry. Donations are always welcome. They're open all year, and I think their hours are most available on their Facebook page. The Avenues of Honor Committee, the applications are ongoing year-round. There's never a deadline. You can contact our new veterans agent, Michelle Alegria, for that. I believe she's listed on the town website. And finally, I also want to give my condolences to Art Borden's family. We've lost a lot of institutional knowledge with his passing, and a really good person.
Thank you. And finally, just a couple of things. First of all, while I'm glad the bill for the North Carver Water District has finally been enacted, I do want to take a minute to thank all the past members of the North Carver Water District, not just the current members, but going back all the way to 2007 when it was enacted. They all worked very hard, and I appreciate all their hard work. It's a district that really changed over time. It started off as a very small district, and then due to circumstances that it expanded. So thank you all for all your hard work. I do want to just reach out and condolences again to everybody who lost a loved one. I had a lot of interaction. Art Borden was someone who would call me pretty much after every select board meeting and review the meeting, so I will miss those calls, and condolences to his family. Old Home Day was spectacular, and I will agree with everyone else. The fireworks were wonderful. We appreciate everything that everybody did to make them happen, and I'm looking forward to Carver Night Out on Thursday. I hope to see everybody there. So with that, our next meeting is on September 8th, 2026. Again, I'll caution the board, there's always the chance that we will need something between now and then. That's a long time to go without meetings, but our next scheduled meeting is on September 8th, 2026. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
I just had one question. I was told to come for an AODC contract for the solar energy.
And it is not on the agenda for tonight.
There's
Okay.
nothing like that on the agenda,
Okay.
nor am I
It
aware
might
of
be a
it.
different meeting?
What is it?
Do you know what?
No, Adam Tapp told me to come out tonight for that.
We talk after the meeting, we're
Yeah.
almost done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you, Area 58.